Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas and this is how to make an RPG in Unity, and welcome to episode 38. In this tutorial we are going to create that final bit of the puzzle with the blue switch that opens the blue gate. We'll add probably a bit of a ceiling. We'll actually animate that gate as well with some sound effects on everything as well. Don't forget, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon as well. Stay up to date with every tutorial still to come in this series, and indeed everything else I upload to my channel. With that in mind, let's get to work. So, let's carry on straight where we left off. The main focus that we need to work with here is this blue switch, and that's the first thing we're going to do. We need to sort all these other ones out as well. However, they're not as important as the gate. So what I think I'd like to do with the gate initially is to actually have that animated to say it opens, let's have it outward. So much like we have done previously with other animations, we need to create a little kind of hinge at the side. So on the blue gate, I'm going to right click, 3D object cube, uncouple the cube and place the cube itself round about here. Shrink the size, so maybe 0.1, 0.1, and on the, in fact we need to rotate, don't we? There we go. So that is now going to act as the hinge. If we just pull it into the wall slightly, does everything look okay? All aligned, that'll do. So now drag blue gate onto the cube, right click, rename, and let's call it blue gate hinge. And let's turn off mesh renderer, and we should be able to rotate to open the gate. And we can. Perfect. So the blue switch is going to do that for us. So let's create that animation for it. So let's go to our animations folder, and let's go to Dungeon 01, and animation, create. And let's have this animation named as blue gate open. I'm really rushing through this now, guys. I think at this point we all know how to do this. You know, this is, to us now, this is simple stuff. When we were beginners, this was, you know, a little bit tricky, but we're not beginners anymore, guys. So let's set the first keyframe. We're only going to do this on the Y axis on rotation. And let's open it over the course of about 90 frames. So by the 90th frame, we want our gate to be about there. Let's stop, go back to project. Let's select our blue gate open, untick loop time. Let's go to the blue gate actual hinge, and let's right click, create state, empty, and we'll set that new state as the default, just so as it doesn't play as soon as we open, or rather, as soon as we start the game. It can only open when we say so, i.e. when we pull the lever. So let's just press play and quickly head into the game view so we can definitely see that this gate isn't doing anything. If Unity decides to actually, there we go. So we should be able to see gate is still locked. Cannot get through. Excellent. So the next thing we've got to do are these little switches. Now, we've previously created something very, very similar, which is the trigger objects, which are on the, what was it on? The notice board, wasn't it, in the last scene? So what I'm going to do is save this scene, and rather than recreate everything again, we've already created it, so why don't we just go back to area 01, and actually take that asset that we already created and just replicate it. So if we go to notice trigger, which is this one, I believe. Let's double click just to make sure it is the right one. It is indeed. So I'm going to take notice trigger, copy it, head back to area 2, and let's head over to the blue gate. Spelled hinge wrong there. Do you know what? I'm just going to keep it as hunge because why not? Don't really make a difference. So I'm going to place this in our scene. So we've got notice trigger. Yep, I know it's called notice trigger, but it doesn't really matter for now. So the aspects of this are already created, so we don't need to create them all over again. We can kind of think of it as cheating a little bit. So now we just need to realign this to fit over the switch up here. So it's just a case of altering the size of all this. So we'll say that is 0.5, and then we'll say the height is 0.8. So that looks relatively decent. That should do the trick. Now, the trick here is to take the quest 001 take object. So I'm going to copy that And then I'm going to go to the scripts folder and let's create a new folder. So right click, create folder, and we'll have this as Dungeon01. Let's paste that script we have just copied. In fact, what we'll have to do is duplicate it, I think. So it was quest 001 take, so let's hold Control, press D to duplicate, and then drag that duplication into Dungeon 01. And in Dungeon 01, let's rename that script to say lever, however you want to pronounce it, blue. So we're going to make a duplicate copy of this script again at some point to replicate the other actual levers. So let's open up lever blue in Visual Studio. So we are going to have a couple of things here. We're going to take the script and we're going to remove lines we don't need, add lines we do need, and just modify a couple of variables as well so it's relative, rather than type out the entire script again, because there's no point typing out an entire script again. What I will do, if you guys have problems with the script, I will actually upload this script to the website when we've written it. So if you have any problems, you can always just get it from there. So the first thing we need to do is change public class at the top and name it lever blue. And let's go down this so we can understand what's going on. So we do need the distance, we do need action display, we need action text. UI quest, I don't think we need, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to annotate it out just for now. We don't need the player, we don't need the notice cam, and we don't need, in fact, yeah, we don't need minimap, no point. What we do need, however, are two variables. We need the blue switch itself, so public game object, and we'll have the lever, semicolon, and public game object blue gate, semicolon. So now let's follow this script down. Void update, distance, that's fine. We need to keep that. On mouse over, that doesn't need to occur, so we can get rid of attack blocker. That can go. We do need to set the action text on both the display. However, we do need to set what they actually say first, rather than just let them come on. So that means we need to add in the namespace at the top using Unity engine.ui, semicolon. You'll notice this quite a lot now, the fact we're going back and forth between the script and various other scripts as well. That's just how, you know, as you get more and more advanced in coding and developing, this kind of thing just happens a lot more than what you would think. So what we need to do is we need to say, excuse me, my voice went then, action display dot get, in fact, no, I don't think we do need to get component because it's action text, isn't it? So the action display is relative to, if I can remember, gosh, I'm trying to remember here. The action display is action character, isn't it? And then action text is what we need to change. So that's right. Just get myself reacquainted there, guys. So action text dot get component and spiky brackets text, open close bracket, dot text equals pull lever, whatever, semicolon. So that's fine. That's fine. If we press the action button, minimap we need to get rid of, so that's fine. Attack blocker doesn't matter. Screen lock cursor doesn't matter. Cursor doesn't matter. Action display off. Action text off. Yes, we need to keep them. The UI quest can go. Notice cam can go. Player can go. Master quest. All of that can go, apart from this right here. However, we do need to add in a couple of other options as well. We need to say this dot game object dot get component, spiky bracket, box collider, open close bracket, dot enabled equals false, because we only need to trigger this once. We don't need it to be able to keep doing it over and over. Next thing what we need to do is say the lever dot get component in spiky brackets animator, open close bracket, dot play. and in brackets and quotes the name of the animation which is attached to this. And if I remember correctly, which I don't, it is switch down anim. So that's what we need to play. So switch down anim. If you called yours something different, you will put your name right there. And then what we'll do is I want the switch to go down, but then the gate open after a little bit of time. So what we're going to do, we need to actually use a coroutine for that. So let's go to the bottom of our script and add in a numerator. Let's call it gate open, close bracket, open curly bracket, yield, return new, wait for seconds, and we'll wait for just 1 second, I think, semicolon. And then at that point, we need to say blue gate dot get component in spiky brackets, animator, open close bracket, dot play. In brackets and quotes, what was the name of our thing? It was blue gate open. Blue gate open. Semicolon. Which means after we play the switch down animation, we need to say that the coroutine needs to start. So start coroutine, and in brackets, gate open close bracket, semicolon, and I just need to put the P in that name there. And on mouse exit, let's set that back to just having action display and action text as off. So now let's add in our actual sound effects. So I'm just going to save that script for now, head back to Unity. And don't worry about the annotations. Once we've confirmed that our script works as intended, we will indeed get rid of all the excess code. So let's go to our audio. That's what we need. Audio, effects, and I'm going to drag and drop these 2 little audio files, which you can get on the website. Much like the script, head over there, downloads and assets, RPG, and tutorial number 38. So let's add these to our scene. So first person controller, we have the audio objects. So let's take that sound one. In fact, no, let's take the sword swing one. And hold Control, press D to duplicate. And let's have lever grind onto there. F2, lever grind. I'm going to increase the pitch on this to 1.5. You don't have to, it's just something I'm having a bit of fun with. And then hold Control, press D, duplicate. And let's have that as gate open. So we just drag and drop over here. Set that back to 1.2. Because why not? And we'll have blue gate open. So now let's declare those 2 variables in our script. So head back, and it's going to be public audio source, and we'll have lever sound semicolon, as well as public audio source, and it'll be gate sound semicolon, which means as we go further down, when we've activated the lever, whatever, let's say lever sound dot play, open close bracket, semicolon, and then down here with our blue gate open, gate sound dot play, open close bracket, semicolon, save the script. Now, let's apply this to the scene. So we need to go to our blue object trigger. So let's rename it just so we're aware. And I'm going to rename it to blue trigger. And I'm going to remove the original script that's on there and attach our new one, which is in Dungeon 01 in the script folder. There it is. So leave a blue onto there, and let's set those variables. So action display is the action character, the text, the lever, which is the blue one. So make sure we do have blue switch in this section right here. Blue gate is the blue gate hinge or hinge. And the lever sound is on our player, and same with the blue gate open. So I'm going to save the scene, and I'm going to try this out now. And hopefully everything should go as intended. So our blue switch. Okay, so nothing worked. Nothing worked. Well, that's interesting. It's very interesting. I wonder why. So let me quickly check why nothing actually worked then. Why did nothing work? So we heard the sounds, so we know at least they played. We know at least they played. I'm going to quickly change the blue gate open pitch back to 1. So let's try and establish why this isn't working now. So we get to this point. They disappear. That's fine. Box collider goes off. The lever.getComponent animator play. So let's check this out. On the trigger, the lever is the blue switch, and on there, it's because the animator is turned off, of course. Okay, so let's turn the animator on. In fact, do you know what? We don't even need to do that. Why don't we just say the lever.getComponent animator.enabled equals true, semicolon, save. Why don't we do that? It's less code, which means it's fewer bytes in the actual script itself. I forgot we actually turned it off last tutorial. Silly Jimmy. So now we should have this bit. So the gate doesn't open, but that's something we can address next or in a little bit. So I'm going to have the lever grind maybe back to 1 because I want it to span the whole time. So the blue gate hinge. Let's try and establish why this does not want to work. Maybe we could use the same method as last time. If we go to animator and have blue gate open as the default state and let's get rid of that new state. I'm just curious if we can try it this way. So the gate should... It's opening very slow, so it's obviously our animation that is the problem. I've probably put 900 seconds rather than 900 frames rather than 90. So let's go to our blue gate. Let's go to the animation. Let's have a look. Yes, so I put 900. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo that. So on the blue gate, let's press record. Let's bring these frames, bring this all the way to here. There we go. And let's stop that. Let's head back to the animator. Let's recreate that empty state, re-enable it as the default state. And now we should be able to do this no problem. So let's have that down. There we go. And our gate is now open. There's our puzzle. So let's sort out the next bit. The next bit is activating these. Now we can use one single script to do all of these on multiple objects. It's really easy. Before we do that, let's shorten this script. So let's get rid of all those annotations because we don't actually need them anymore. We know our script works. We know we don't need to deal with this anymore. So we can simply get rid of them. No need for them to be there, is there? Just be careful you don't delete any part of the code that you would need. So I'm going to resave that now. And what I'm going to do is head back into Unity. And I'm going to actually take that script itself that is on the blue trigger. And I'm going to hold Control, press D. And rename it to lever generic. So this will apply to all of those. So let's open lever generic in Visual Studio, rename. And everything can be pretty much the same. We don't need the gate sound and we don't need blue gate. They can go. So which means we don't actually need that coroutine. So we don't need to start it. We just need to say pull the lever. We need to animate it and play the sound. That's all we're going to do because they do nothing else. So get rid of those few lines of code, save, head back to Unity, and this is where the fun happens now. all we need to do is quickly recreate that trigger we have for the blue one, which is right there. I'm going to move it over a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to hold Control, press D, and have this as generic lever. Attach that script onto there, and then just attach all of those variables that you need one by one. Accept the lever, that's going to be the red one for this, and the lever sound is going to be the same one right there, and get rid of lever blue. So now this generic one is activated for the red one. So I'm going to hold Control, press D, bring it to the yellow one, and just have yellow as the lever. Duplicate again, bring it to green, and just have green as the lever. And then finally, same with the purple. And let's bring it to there. And now let's press play, and let's make sure everything works as intended. So you just come into a dungeon, you see all the levers, you see a gate, you'll establish that it's blue maybe at some point, but let's try this one. There we go. That one, maybe. That one. Ah, maybe the blue one. There we go. So each individual lever will work. Perfect. So the final thing I'm going to do, just for now, is I'm going to put a rather large ceiling on our dungeon just so the light isn't so blinding, because, you know, as we build more and more of this is going to look really cool inside here. But we're going to cheat a little bit with the ceiling just for now, because it's a gradual thing. So I'm going to take this cube just because it's the closest one I've picked. I'm going to hold Control, press D to duplicate, bring it up to there. Is it sitting on top? Not quite. Bring it down just a little more. And I'm going to expand it to a great degree. So let's say scale is going to be 20, in fact probably more than that. Let's say 50 by 50 and just 1 on the Y. And let's bring it up to about there. So now we actually have a bit of a ceiling on our dungeon. There we go. And let's apply a texture to it. So let's go to our textures and let's just apply the dirt, because we can. So we do have an actual thingy on there, a normal map. So it already has the I can't think what it's called. Material. It's right there. Material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the material that it's actually attached to, and I'm going to change it. Why am I going to change it? Because we don't want the exact same materials we've used previously. So let's tidy up our asset window down here a little. Materials. Dirt 001. Hold Control, press D. We now have Dirt 002. So I'm going to reduce the normal map on it to 0.5, change it to albedo alpha, and apply it up here. Change the metallic, change the smoothness to probably about there. Tiling I'm going to have as 10 by 10. And I'm going to press play and see what it looks like. There we go. So we can actually see it's getting a bit creepy right now. So obviously the light is still blinding us. That's obvious because we have a gap in our wall there. We don't need to worry about that. You'll also notice that the mini-map has now completely kind of changed. Don't worry about that. We're going to sort that next tutorial. So, next tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to sort out a couple of little things here and there, the minimap being one of them. I want to also start implementing visual experience and levels, you know, for our pause menu that we've got, because obviously we get experience for killing the spiders, completing quests, and do whatever else. So I want to visually represent that on our pause menu. Yeah. So after that, I think we're going to bring some enemies into our dungeon. We'll just see how it goes. But what I would recommend doing between now and next tutorial is just build up your dungeon a little bit more. You can build the same sort of style as I'm building here, or you can do whatever you want. So guys, until that next tutorial, thank you very much for watching.